John, we sat down speaking ahead of the big game on Tuesday night, Manchester United at Old Trafford. Don't come much bigger than that, do they?
They don't know. A fantastic game for us and a brilliant reward, really, for what was a fantastic performance against Sheffield United. And a just reward. And I think it's an opportunity now to go and showcase what we can do on the big stage, and there's no bigger than Old Trafford.
As a coaching staff, are you sort of celebrating that draw, or are you thinking we're coming up against one of the best teams in the world?
Oh, we're celebrating it 100%. Just like we were, majority of the staff were players, and we looked at those big occasions as players and relished the challenge. And it's no different as a coach. You want to put yourself against the best, and you want to live some of the moments and relive some of the moments that you miss when you're not a player anymore. So it's definitely one that we're excited about, looking forward to, and we were all thrilled. When the number 3 ball came out, and it was Barnsley.
You're of course playing the Premier League yourself and been involved in some huge cup ties. Just what was your experience during your playing days of being at Old Trafford? It's often spoke about as being a great place to play, and the fans are quite loud when they get going. Just what was it like from your experience?
Yeah, difficult. Obviously against a strong United team. A couple of times that I played there, but again, like you say, it's one of those dream places where everybody wants to set foot on that turf and play in that kind of iconic stadium against such an iconic football club. And exciting, but these stages have sometimes have a funny way of bringing the best out of you, whether it's a player at the latter stages of the career, maybe rekindling some of that younger, youthful quality that they had, or a younger player sparking them onto bigger and better things. So I think the lads can use it as that and use it as a platform to go and do great things. And I think that, like I said before, there's no bigger or better stage. They'll be excited. We can tell that already. It's trying to keep them under control until we get to the Tuesday night. But they're excited, and again, it's a reward for how well they've done in the previous 2 ties.
And I'm sure during your playing career that you were on both sides of the coin in terms of you were once the underdog playing a huge club like Manchester United, and then you were once the huge club facing a lower league opposition. Just firstly, from the side of being the underdog going to big opposition, how do you? Are you sort of fearless? No expectation. You just go out there and as you sort of touched on, just to show what you can do.
Yeah, I think it's trying to get that balance. I think there's lots of cliches that come around when you go into a big club in a cup draw. There's the upset that might give to the opposition, but I think you've got to be careful that it's not just turned into an occasion. It's not just a day out. There's more to it than that, and I think there's an opportunity to go and win a football match first and foremost, and you've got to see it as that. There'll be a game plan in place to go and win the game, and that's the objective when you go in. But as an individual going into it, you've got to use it as a platform to show what you're about, what you're capable of, and to test yourself against bigger and better opposition. And I think that's important that the players keep that in mind, that it's not just a day out. They should enjoy the pressure that brings with a big tie, but go and enjoy it, because you never know when the next opportunity is going to come.
And a very specific example in your career was, of course, I think one that'll stick out is the game at Stamford Bridge when you were playing for Bradford. Went there, won 4-2, I believe, scored and assisted there. That must, now you sort of looking back on your career, that must be one of the days where you look back and think, it's the highlight, or if not one of the highlights. Yeah,
of course. That was a special day, not just for myself, but Bradford City and the whole of Bradford. It was a magical occasion, and I think for me personally, I played 700 games in my career, and that was the one game where I can say I nearly got to an 100%, top performance. And you don't get to say that. Some players won't get to get anywhere near that in the whole of their careers, and mine happened to be on that day in that stage at Stamford Bridge. I was one of those towards the end of my career, and it kind of reignited sort of not my passion for it, but me saying, look, I've competed at this level before and I can still do it. So it gives you that extra little bit of belief, and I think that belief is so important, whether you're an older player or a younger player, that these kind of games throw up moments for individuals where they'll do something that they might not even know they could do themselves. And I think that can spark reactions from teammates, and then suddenly we had a Bradford team there where every single player on the pitch performed above their general standard. And Chelsea were a little bit below. Obviously, you need that, and we'll need that at Manchester United as well. But I think that those are the magical moments that these kind of games bring. And for an individual, you want to be searching for that moment, because we have got a lot of quality in our team and a lot of players that possess those magical moments. So I think to get one or two of them to bring that to the forefront, then anything's possible.
And after that, it's not just the game itself, it's the sort of reaction afterwards. How can it sort of motivate, how can it inspire, how can it give confidence to a team with a good performance? Might not get the result, but a good performance there, or just that occasion. How much can that give the squad in the how it translates into the league campaign as well?
Yeah, really important. I think what we've done really well so far this season has been executing game plans, and the lads are really taking on board what a very new staff collective has given them, and they've taken it and they've executed it very well. I think the confidence comes from, again, executing that plan which we'll have against Manchester United, and going seeing parts of that come to fruition. And I think that the more that happens throughout the 90 minutes, the more that puts you in a better place in terms of building on that and moving forward, because we're still building as a group of players, as a group of staff, and I think we've still got a lot more to come. But I think those building blocks can be almost accelerated with a good performance at such an iconic stadium against such a very good team, similar to what the Sheffield United performance did for us, I feel. And I think we can go and do that just at another level, a little bit higher, and that's going to be the objective.
I'm keen to get your thoughts and just to look back at the season so far. Obviously, still very early on into the campaign, but as you say, some very encouraging performances, some things that we need to improve on that Daryl's touched on. How would you sort of assess the first few games of the season?
I think a solid building block. I think we've, like you mentioned, a lot of new players, new staff, new surroundings, new ideas. So yeah, there's been a lot that we've had to navigate, and at times it's been challenging, and I think that's important. I think we need that challenge to make sure that we're growing and we're getting better as a group. But I think we're starting to see signs of that. We're starting to see a little bit more consistency in our messages and some of the performances that we're producing on the pitch. And I hope and I'm sure that all that's going to keep improving. We've still got a long way to go. We've got a lot of things that we need to get right, that we need to tighten up on. Again, what the gaffer's touched on, but we're working extremely hard to try and get those things right. And I think the lads are coming in every day wanting to work. They're enthusiastic, and they're taking on board the messages that we're giving them as a group of staff, because there's a lot of experience in that group of staff. And I think the players are buying into that. They're listening and they're learning. So it's been a solid start, but again, there's things that we need to work on and things that we need to improve.
Well, Jon, thank you for your valuable insight, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.